there, Erin from Morehouse Farm. Today is our knitting tutorial on how to make a tassel to embellish the Sojourn hat. And what we need is, of course, the yarn left over from the project and a darning needle. So to get started, I've cut lengths of yarn that are all, about twice as long as I want the tassel to finally be. I'm going to lose a little bit of length when I braid it, but folding it over like so will be about as long as my tassel is. Now I've made 9 different pieces of yarn here because that's about the thickness that I want to work with. I've also cut one more piece which is going to wrap the tassel and one piece which is going to help anchor it to the hat. That's also going to serve as the midpoint for the tassel. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this yarn around the middle and I'm going to tie it in a knot. Now I just put my darning needle on here so I don't lose it, but I'm also going to use that to anchor this to my hat so I have a place to hold the yarn here while I braid it. It'll be attached to the hat already. So I'm just tying that around in a knot to hold it there. You can do a double knot if you like, but then we're going to anchor this to the hat, and all I'm going to do is take my top, poke it through. One can go through the center, and I'm just pulling it tight. And then the second one, I'm going to have to thread this needle. I want to make sure that I don't send it through exactly the same hole or there won't be anything through it to anchor it. So I just pick a spot on the side and poke it through. To start with, I'm going to anchor this simply by tying a square knot. Use any kind you like, but cross one over one way and then over the next, and that'll hold it nice and firm for you. And then you come back and darn in the ends. So here's what it looks like out the top. That could just be a ponytail, which is one form of embellishment for sure. So in order to go on though with the tassel, I'm going to divide this into 3 separate sections, and I might have been good about separating these into different colors, but I might not have been. I think what I need here is I have 6 on each side. And if I have more light pink versus dark pink, I don't know that it really matters, but I want to separate these about evenly, and then I want to start braiding. So if you're familiar with braiding, this is going to be a piece of cake. If it's new to you or you feel like you're all thumbs, just remember you're always going to take one from the outside, first from the right, then from the left, then from the right, then from the left, and bring it to the middle of the other 2. So over, right to the middle, left to the middle, right to the middle, left to the middle, and so forth until you get to the length that you want your tassel to be. Now, you might want this shorter, you might want this longer. Go all the way if you want, or let's cut it short. Totally up to you. I'm going to take mine down to the end, about here. That'll give me a little bit of room to work with here at the end. And what I'm going to do first, when I've decided it's long enough, I'm going to take my one last piece and I'm going to tie it in a knot across 2 of these. And that's just to help keep it steady that way. And then I can tie it in another knot around the other 2 as well, just to hold it there so that nothing comes unbraided. And then what I'm going to do is wrap this yarn around the bottom. So it makes that nice little edge there. And I'll pull out the other side and do the same thing. Now this one, I'm going to wrap in the opposite direction simply because that'll give me something to tie it off with at the end. And it's just a couple of wraps here. Now I will tie these together and fold them down. And there I go. Now all I need to do is take the scissors and trim them to length. So now they're all about the same length. And voila! We have a tassel for our Sojourn hat. Happy knitting from Morehouse Farm.